What do you think? Do you think paddle should be played indoors? Should paddle be an indoor sport? What do you think, Yousef?
I disagree. I do not think it should be an indoor sport. I just think the timing of the tournaments when you have them outdoors should be at the time when you should not expect things like this to happen. And so if you want outdoors, make sure that weather generally in that time is fine. And if you and go indoors whenever you expect, maybe there's not going to be a chance. So as you know, when you go to Europe or when they go to Rotterdam or they go to
But
Madrid,
you don't think they thought about that? They
no, I
picked the
don't. But
places?
it feels like you went to January. You were outdoors in Riyadh. Like it rains in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
okay?
but it
And
rarely
especially that
does,
time of
so-
season.
Yeah.
No, but it rains that time of season. So, like, go for indoors. I don't think like it just it feels like it's the most basic response to it. But I do not think I like the idea of having a mix. I like the idea of in Santiago we had a different style. Yeah, maybe there was lots of pushback to this wasn't paddle of boom, 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 boom. The average rally of during this tournament was like 5-6 shots. But at the same time, it's a variety, isn't it? You get to see different players win, and you have other players that have to struggle. For someone like Lucas Bergamini, he was not a fan of Santiago. But you have others like Pablo Cardona and Leo Ausberger. We're going to get into them, but they probably had an amazing time playing in the morning in Santiago. So I like the variety in conditions, and I do not think that paddle should be played indoors all the time.
Yeah, no, I also really like the variety. It should not be only an indoor sport because like tennis, we want to see how players adapt to different conditions.
Exactly.
Different speeds, different surfaces. Also, as a team, how are they able to change their tactics? So I love the variety in the game, and I loved Santiago adding that to the mix, given that it has the high altitude and the balls can fly more.
They
and
were
so
flying, huh?
And they were flying. They were flying. We saw some epic smashing, and
Insane.
and we'll get into the matchups more. But no, I really like the variety and that this offers us. And maybe later on, as the sport expands, they need to have one court that's always indoors for such conditions.
Yeah.
At least, even if it's smaller, but you need to have at least one indoor court,
Yeah.
or at least have a roof. Not asking for the Roland Garros Wimbledon type of foldable roof of a stadium, but like
They are going to get
over
that when
time,
they go
yeah.
to Philippe Chatrier.
Yeah, when they go there, they're going to get that. But at least for some other tournaments, just at least have an indoor court. And I don't think that's so hard to ask. And that means tournaments are going to have to put up more money. But if you know the conditions in your country are like that, then that needs to be something that they think about seriously.
I completely disagree.
But other than that, I think it should be fine.
I completely disagree.
Your thoughts, Aaron?
I completely disagree. Why would you want to let the weather dictate the course of the match? Like it's just uncertainty and just randomness. I don't like you to put randomness for no reason. And if you want to do a variety, then we can do variety in terms of the surfaces and the pace, maybe the speed of the court. That could be variety.
That's what happens with the outdoor, though. The outdoor gives you the different speed of the court. And
Yeah,
it gives you
but if you
the
can
pace.
actually then change the surface that you use, but just make it indoor. So if you want to add different styles and different speeds and different quality of a court, like that's something that you could do, but it has to be indoors. I feel like really. Again, I asked this before. You like watching these tournaments in Venezuela when they just throw up a lob and it goes in the water. Like that's not so fun. Nor playing it nor watching it. That's not fun. Like think of any time you played in the outdoors when it was windy. It's not fun at all. Like every time you hit the lob, it goes out. Like no, you want to let the rally build, and that's what's fun about padel. You want to let the rally build. You want people play, and the best player wins. You don't want to throw it up. Okay, the weather conditions were good today, and they suited my game, and then that helped me win. Like, what's fun in that? I think that actually the most fun types of matches that you would see are the ones that are indoors, things like the Masters finals, and it's just like. The best player win, man. The best player win. And then you just focus on tactics and not just, okay, I'm going to throw up a lob here and hope the wind helps it up here. And maybe...
Yeah, but... So the only thing you'd be able to change then is the surface. And the surface can speed up the pace a little bit. That's true. But also at the same time, having the element of the wind and the sun means that you need to adapt to it and to the conditions. And the ball also flies a little bit more outdoors. and you see how players adapt. I mean, I hear your point about the wind in Venezuela because they were playing in Puerto Cabello. And remember, they're putting the court right next to the water. Like, remember, who was it that threw the racket into the water?
Pablo Lijo.
Pablo Lijo threw his racket into the water. Like, that's how close they were. So maybe it doesn't have to be right on the water. Like, it's not like a beachfront. Like, maybe they back up a bit. You won't get that type of crazy wind. But I still like the idea of having sun, wind, conditions, pace, the humidity. Like, yeah. And then we have different results. Also, it accentuates the strengths of different players in the game. Like, you're saying the indoor courts, you'll just have... I mean, it's very hard to get diverse results if you're just playing indoors all the time. Like, you just get Koyu Tapia winning every single time. Or, like, when you go outdoors and you get the high firepower people, they get more. Remember when they were playing in Mexico a couple of years back? Was it when Stupa and Ruiz won? It was right because you couldn't actually hit the ball out.
Yeah.
And there was something to do with the balls too, but they couldn't hit the ball out. So then it's about more of the fitness and the defensive skills. I disagree. I like this. Personally, I like the variety, and I like to see
what
that.
makes
you like the idea
this
of
week
the
different
variety.
from last week, different from the week before. What makes it different then? If I'm seeing the same exact product every week, indoors, we're playing the same exact style. The fun and exciting thing to me was about Santiago. It was different. I knew I was going to see something different. I want to see something different. I don't want to see the same exact tournament, the same exact outcome every single week. I want there to be uncertainty in the sport that I follow. So if you're going to predict everything's going to be so predictable, they're playing in the same exact conditions, and the outcome is the same, the draw is exactly the same. If you're going to give me the same exact draw, then at least give me different conditions and let me see how the outcome sways to this or that direction. So I'm a fan of the game of where every single week I'm going to watch a different style. I'm going to see different people perform differently. And I think that's what conditions provide.
What you would have the difference is that, first of all, the points make the difference in how hard do you play. For example, sometimes you go all out on the big tournaments. Maybe sometimes you try different strategies. Players can try different things.
I don't know what that means. You're making vague statements.
What's a vague statement? If all the tournaments are exactly the same number of points, then okay, nothing is different. But if you have bigger tournaments with a bigger draw, then and also if they would put more effort.
I'm talking about the style of play.
That's how you're gonna get variety, and then you had to make different surfaces.
No, I want variety in the style of play. Not fine. The draw, great. I'm talking about the style of play. I want variety. I want sometimes where they're gonna have to. You have to defend.
You want to watch an hour and a half match of just lob, and see who, and everybody's chicken. Nobody wants to hit a smash and lob, just lobbing each other. Moonball.
You know that's not the case.
You know
that's not the case, and that never happens.
That does happen.
It means that you just need to get the perfect chance, like the timing of the ball that you attack has to be
go back
much
and watch
better.
Venezuela and you'll see. Go back, watch Venezuela, and you'll see how that.
Watch Venezuela. I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Watch the matches, and they keep lobbing each other. Lob. Also, something else, I like the sound of.
It's also not easy to lob when there's a lot of wind. You have to be very precise with the lob.
Yeah, and it's even harder to hit smashes or anything with the wind. So you play safer shots, but then it's like, why? Let's agree to disagree. Like,
we do this.
Well, if anyone's watching, for those watching, let us know in the comments. Do you think it should be indoors or not?
Yeah.
Or do you like the diversity?
It's fun to play indoors, but as a fan, I want to see different variety, and I liked what I saw in Santiago.
I think you like the idea of variety, but you don't want.
How do I like? I watched the tournament this week. That was completely different. I like that it was different. I like that I saw smashes flying. I like that the women were hitting 3-meter smashes from behind the line. I liked it. I like it. I like change. And I like that in the morning it was completely different than what it was at night.
Yeah.
Which means mid-match, you had to adjust your game plan. If you're playing in the sun and then by the final set you're playing at night, the game plan is completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
courts were much slower.
Exactly, and that comes back to the player and the coach. And everyone has a coach on the bench in paddle. So how good is the coach to direct the players in the right direction and to take them on a different tactical plan completely? Because guess what? The conditions have changed completely over the past hour and a half.
Yeah, true.
So that's all good in theory. But that's not always the case, and that's not.
Again.
And when it's not the case, it's horrible.
Well, let's leave it to the fans or viewers to let us know what you think in the comments.
Vamos, vamos, vamos!